Greetings, everyone. Happy Sunday. How are y'all doing today? I'm having my Shanlin tea. I got my little teapot. Tea ceremony is such a gift for me in my life. Like I'm a very ceremonial kind of person. Like I like to do things ritualistically, and um tea ceremony and my morning practices are key to how I literally start my day. And I love the opportunity to wake in the morning and sit and meditate and connect to the spirit realm. Oh, bring my awareness to the spirit realm because I'm always connected to the spirit realm, but to bring my awareness to it and to honor the elements. I always start the day with a candle and um, a candle that represents the color of the day. So today is Sunday, and the sun is represented by usually red or yellow. So I'll burn a red or yellow candle, and then I will put on the incense that represents the sun, which is frankincense. There are many incenses, but I use frankincense because frankincense is so sacred. So here's the tea ceremony. So we are in our Nodal masterclass, and the nodes just shifted a week ago into Pisces and Virgo. It's gonna be a it's gonna be a rock'em sock'em 18 months. Oh my goodness, because Virgo is the nitty gritty. It is the details. And most of us just don't live in the details. We just don't. Um we're too externally focused to live in the details. We're too thinking about the future and what we don't have. And our minds have been conditioned to think in ways that are against ourselves. And so Virgo is the guts of things. So this is the next for the next 18 months, we have to bring our attention, or we get to, we don't have to, we get to bring our attention deeply into our way of being, to understand the math of our own life. How did I get here? What actions did I take that got me here? Most of us don't think in that way. We think from the perspective of that's happening to me. Someone is doing this thing and it's happening to me. No, we generate an experience that that creates these experiences. And we get to ask ourselves, how am I showing up? What am I doing that's creating this? That's the game changer. That's the game changer. And that is Virgo. Virgo is the intimate details, and it carries the energy of criticism, which can be negative, but we need the critic. We need to know what is actually happening. And it's the critical eye that can actually perceive what is occurring. So all of us for the next 18 months will have a much more critical eye. Now, the question is, do you know how to use it? Don't use it against yourself. Use it in service to yourself. Don't use it against others. Use it in service to others. So that means shutting the fuck up and watching and not saying anything and learning how to perceive reality so that you can see things as they really are and not from the perspective of the ego. The ego is always in comparison, judgment, and competition, generally, unless it's being true to itself. So if you're around children, right? Children have a natural ego. They're just in their presence of self. They're just doing what they're doing. They're not comparing themselves. They're not judging themselves. They're not judging others. That is the nature of how we are best meant to function. If we are going to be in our ego, just in the fulfillment of your energy. That's it. It doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. So today the sun is in the final hours of Capricorn. The sun right now is at the 29th degree and the 49th minute of Capricorn. And once it crosses the 29th degree in the 59th minute, which will happen in a couple of hours. So by later on tonight, the sun will be in Aquarius. So we have the moon in Libra and the sun at the final degree of Capricorn. Capricorn is about authority, discipline, structure, and achievements. Capricorn is about actually getting some shit done, like really getting it done. And what we're working on right now is healing, because Virgo is about healing the ways we have given our authority away to the external that have depleted us, the ways that we have given our power away. And so you get to look at that in your own life. Now, the thing that's really significant about this work is that the moon, we're following the nodes of the moon, and we're following the moon, right? But the moon reflects the light of the sun. The moon doesn't have any light of her own. She's a reflector. So when you see a big full moon in the sky, that is because she is reflecting the light of the sun. She doesn't illuminate herself. Isn't that amazing? Because you wouldn't think that, right? Like you look at it and it looks like it's this luminous body, but it's really just reflecting light. So the moon is the feminine, and it is the negative, and so it's pulling in all of that energy and then reflecting back the light. So that is the nature of the feminine. So for those of us who carry more feminine energy, who work with more feminine energy, we are magnets. The moon is a magnet. It is pulling in the energy and then reflecting back what it is given. So right now, the moon is reflecting the light of the Capricorn sun, which means that authority. And so what are the things we're seeing? We see the government just cut TikTok, right? Or is attempting to do so because it's attempting to use its authority. And people are, authority is this profound thing, because what it does is it renders a person powerless, right? So think about if you get sick, if you're not feeling well, and if it continues to linger on and you don't know what it is, your mind might tell you to go see a doctor rather than telling you to go inside of yourself and talk to your body and access the energy of your own codes and your organs and discover what it is that you need before you go get some help. Maybe you can do it yourself. Maybe you don't need any external authority, right? So when we think about the things that are going on in the world, like wars and stuff, we immediately possibly think of politicians and governments and how they can fix it. We don't think, what can we do to fix that? Where's the authority within us? Because we've been conditioned to believe that others have the answers. That is a conditioning. That is a false illusion. Others cannot have the answers for your life. They can support you in accessing the answers for you, but they don't have the answers for you. No one can have the answer for you. Someone who's an astrologer, like I am an astrologer, I have greater detail probably, but at the end of the day, you got to come in and see how it works out for you. You've got to come in and prove it for yourself, because the authority is ultimately yours. Even if you assign it to someone else and give it away, ultimately you will not feel as good or aligned as you could feel if someone else is making your decisions for you. It's just how it is. And it's so interesting because I have a homeopathic doctor that he's a genius. He's an astrologer. He's a chiropractor. All the stuff, right? He does all the stuff. And one day I was laying on the table and he was standing above me. I'm laying down and he's standing above me, and he's probably like 6'3", 6'4", the color of this cup. And he said to me so lovingly, trust yourself. Trust yourself. Now, this is a man who is a master healer. And he looked at me and said, trust yourself. Basically, don't put your power in me. Don't come to me like I have your answers. Trust yourself. I am supporting you in building your power. And that just, when I tell you, it just did something inside of me to hear a man say, don't rely on me for your power, your wisdom, your sense of self. It's inside of you. And that's what I'm here to let you all know, is that the wisdom, the power, it's all inside of you, the authority. And if you don't have it, there was a time in my life when this information was all just information to me. And I just was listening, but I didn't have a place for it in my system yet. And what I did was I just stayed consistent. Just keep going. And as you stay consistent, it will begin to make sense. You'll just be out and you go, oh, that's what they were talking about. But just stay consistent, because your consistency is sending a signal to the energy within you, the power within you, the power within the universe, that you are here and that you are devoted to your own transformation. Your consistency is a signal for the universe to bring you your shit. Let's say it that way. It's like, okay, she's serious, because the universe is a living, breathing thing. It is alive. It is conscious. And the more conscious you become, the more conscious it will become. So one of my examples is my cats. When I first got these cats, I didn't understand that they were sentient beings, that they were souls in cats' bodies that understand everything, everything. So I was talking to them like they don't get it. It's kind of the way, maybe this doesn't happen as much now, but when I was a little girl, there was this idea that children didn't know anything. It was like we were like as a child, I remember being treated like I wasn't, for lack of a better word, an idiot. Like, but I could see everything. I could see everybody's behavior. I could see everything, but they're treating me like I don't see it, like I don't get it, and like I don't understand it. And that's how I was with my cats. I just thought they didn't understand, almost like a person with a foreign language. And then I started to realize they get everything. And it started to soften my nervous system. Like, oh. And one day I said to one of my cats, I had opened the door, they were outside. She comes in and she goes to eat. At the time, I was waiting on an Uber and it was going to be here in like 5 minutes. So I heard the voice inside of me say, tell her exactly what's happening. So I said to her, the Uber is coming in 5 minutes. So if you want to leave, you have to come out with me when I leave. So hurry up and eat. And then you have to come out with me when I go if you want to be outdoors. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in the house until I get back. She ate. The Uber got here. I said, the Uber is here. I got up to go to the door. She turned around. She stopped eating. She came to the door and she walked out with me. And I left, and that was it. Like, she understood exactly what I was saying to her. And there's something that did in my nervous system. It was like, oh, everything is alive. Everything gets it. I used to yell at them thinking that was just the reflex of, like, if I talk louder, they're going to get it. It just didn't make sense. But that's what I thought I needed to do in order for them to understand what I was, but that's not how it is, right? So everything here is alive. And when you begin to follow the subtle energies, which is this work is the subtle energies. When you begin to follow it, your own consciousness will begin to expand and awaken and wake up, and you will begin to experience, like the other day I was standing somewhere and a hummingbird just landed right on the branch that was right near me. And I was like, oh, hey, how you doing? And it stayed there for a while. And we had a little thing. And because everything is alive, everything is alive. And the more you relax and the more you understand your connection to the allness, just seeing what they were eating, the more you understand it, the more it becomes alive. It's like everything becomes like Mary Poppins. You know what I mean? Like Mary, if you go watch the original Mary Poppins movie, she just moved through the world like she was connected to it and it was alive and it was bibbity bobbity. No, that's Cinderella, not bibbity bobbity boo. It's everything is alive. Everything is magical. That's all I can really say. And it's your responsibility to soften your subconscious and psyche to be able to receive that. There is another reality that's present in the reality that we're in that's alive. And you get to soften yourself and make yourself receptive to it. So today, the moon is in Libra. We have the moon in Libra for the next 2.5 days. The moon moved into Libra last night. If you have a Libra sun, I encourage you to fast while the moon is in Libra. And what that means is take something away. It doesn't have to be food. It could be food, but it could be something that you do on a regular basis that you want to shift your relationship with. Take something away because that will begin to soften your subconscious. Now, the thing about the cardinal energy, so right now the moon is in Libra and the sun is in the last couple of hours of Capricorn. These are cardinal energies. The cardinal energies are Capricorn, Libra, and Cancer. These are where the seasons change. And Aries. So the season changes to spring in Aries. The season changes to fall in Libra. And the season changes to winter in Capricorn. And the season changes to summer in Cancer. People who have these energies, wherever you have them in your chart, it's going to be where you're the strongest in a lot of ways, because that energy of changing seasons takes a great deal of momentum. So these people and the places where you have these energies are very strong. So this is why it's about authority. The moon in Libra is about how you move through this 3D reality. It's understanding your own value. You've got to know who you are to charge your mind and your system to move through this reality. You got to know what you're up to, how you function, what your mission is. And if you don't, that is okay. You can get busy getting clear about what that is because now is the time. If you're not clear, your purpose is to be yourself. Now, what does that mean? I think it's so fascinating that the sun is going to be conjunct Pluto in Aquarius tomorrow. And this inauguration is happening and all these power shifts are happening and all of this. And if you don't know who you are, you can't have your power. You cannot have your power if you don't know who you are, because you are meant to function a certain way. So you are here for a certain purpose in the fulfillment of a certain way of being. And if you don't know what that is, you can't have your power until you're clear about what that is. Otherwise, you'll do damage. You'll do damage to yourself and you'll do damage to the environment around you. So Libra, they say Libra is about marriage and partnership. Libra is about you. Libra is the mirror. They dumb that down to marriage and partnership. It's about the mirror. The person in your life is a reflection of you. They're usually reflecting to you the parts of yourself that you cannot see. That's the trick. Libra is the mirror, and the people in your life reflect the aspects of you that you cannot see. So who are the closest people in your life, and what is the story you're telling about them? And then put your name there. Put your name there. Put your name there. If you love how they function or whatever they're doing, put your name there. Put your name there. If you hate how they're functioning or whatever they're doing, put your name there, because it is a reflection. And where you are not able to see it is where your power is being drained. Where you're in resistance to it is where your power is being drained. So for instance, for me today, I have some feelings about this TikTok thing, and that the government could come in and just, like, we grown. We are grown as people. And that there's some other entity out there that can say to me as a grown person, I don't have the right. Like, I don't get it. I just don't get it, right? So what I'm doing is asking myself, where am I afraid to really hold my power? Where am I still believing that I'm a child and that I don't deserve to fully be empowered, or that I'm not capable of being responsible for my power? Where is it? Why am I doing that? And I will just journal about that today. Where am I not really showing up in my authority because I don't feel like I deserve it? I will just be in a journaling experience of that today, and I will use things to support me, to help me, right? So Libra is the energy. There's my tea. Of Venus. Venus is currently in Pisces. So this is all math, right? These are all symbolism math. Libra is ruled by Venus. Venus is in Pisces, and this is a collective experience, right? The last time Mercury was in Pisces, not the last time, but a few years ago, we had COVID. Mercury was in Pisces. So with Venus, I want to work with, this is rose. This is a tincture, and it's rose, and it's just going to bring me, just put it under my tongue. I have a lot of little things that I use to help me embody these energies. So that is rose. And then I have flower essences. Flower essences are so great because the energy is very subtle and light. And so it's not, you don't have to worry about anything happening in your system. And so this one is the evening star, which is Venus. And so I'll just put a little and work with it for the next 2 days. And that will assist me with the question that I just asked. Where am I giving my power away? Where am I allowing myself to be superseded by somebody else's ideas? Why would I be doing that? I think my cat wants to go outside. Hold on a second, y'all. Come on. Come on, little girl. Come on. You want to go out? We're going to go out the back door. Let's go out the back door. So come on. All right. I started letting my cats be outside, and they stopped using their litter because they now pee outside. And so now whenever they got to go outside, they won't go to the litter box anymore. I have to go open the door for them to go out, which is an interesting experience because it happens at 10 o'clock at night as well. So I will use these tools to support me in this question of where am I giving my authority away? Because the South Node is in Virgo, and that says that there's something to be released and let go of. And the North Node is in Pisces, and that says, imagine if you felt empowered. What would it feel like? What's because Venus is in Pisces right now, right? So this is the math of this is so, for those of you who are astrologers, this math is fucking great. Okay. Because the moon is in Libra, which is the other, your reflection. Your partner is your reflection. The sun is in the last day of Capricorn, the very last moments, not even the last day, the last hours of Capricorn. Your authority. And so how do you give your authority away in your relationships? How do you give it away? And the thing that I see the most, how people give their authority away in their relationships, is that they don't understand that they are creating their reality. That The person in your life, the people in your life, these one-on-one relationships are mirror reflections. We believe in separation, and Venus is in Pisces, and it says there is no separation, there is no other. Everything is a reflection of you. And so you want to make it your business to focus and ask questions and get curious about your ability to witness that, to see that, to experience that, to believe it. Because right now, most of us believe in the laws of separation. And those are the laws that are based in white supremacy, competition, egoism, all of that. Like, that is dead. That whole system is dead. I promise you, it's like an 8-track tape. Our government is going to become obsolete, literally, because we are all coming back into our personal authority, and we won't need doctors to heal ourselves. We won't need teachers the system is here to support itself. The things that they have been teaching us have been to support the system and thriving and living. And now this system is over with. So we're going to develop new ways of being, new education tools, new ways of healing, all of it. But you have to get your mind there. You have to understand that the old ways are outdated and no longer represent who you're becoming, and disconnect yourself from them. But it's in you. It's in you. So it's not, that's the thing, that's the trick of this reality. It is in you. You're projecting it. So everywhere you go, there you are. So if you leave a relationship being like, oh, they were this and they were that, and you get into another one, the new person is going to do the same thing, because they're going to reflect to you yourself as well. That's why you got to purify it on the inside, y'all. You cannot change it from outside, because your frequency is what is generating your experience. So this work is helping you do the internal, intimate, detailed work to get yourself into another mindset, another frequency, and another code, and ultimately another reality that is of your conscious creation, another reality that is of your conscious creation. All right, you all. So look at your relationships today and ask, where am I giving my power away? Just ask. If you're not clear, if you don't know it, let me tell you, asking questions. At one time I had a friend, I've seen this a lot of times, but I had this friend of mine. We were in a class together, and she was like, she was in a relationship with this man. They were married, and she was probably in her 40s, and she was a very sexy woman, and her husband was gorgeous. Like, he's like 6'5" and gorgeous, tall, chocolate and dark and handsome. And she was they were like a really, they were a highly adored couple. And she was very much in love, you know what I mean? Like, and you could, it was really interesting, because she was like, they had been married for years and she was in love. And I was just like, oh, this is great. And then we were in a class together, and one day she started saying out loud in class, she was like, I'm not seeing something. I'm missing something. Like, she could feel it. I'm missing something. I'm missing something. I could feel it. And we just all were like, okay. And a month later, turned out that her husband was molesting her daughter. He was the stepfather, had been getting in bed with the daughter, and she was like 13 or 14 years old. And she just could feel something. Maybe she was 12, like she was like 12. And she just started asking the question, what is it that I'm not seeing? So when you ask these questions, be ready, okay? Be ready for something to be revealed, if there is something there to be revealed. If you have been denying, resisting, it will show up. If you have not, you're good. But if you have, when you ask these questions and when answers come, don't look away. Don't look away. Don't look away. Don't see it clearly. Be willing to see it clearly, because this is how the healing comes. And with the South Node moving through Virgo, there will be healing, okay? And if you guys want to understand, yesterday I did a reading with somebody where the nodes are happening for them specifically. And you can go to my website at healwithmoonmama.com, and book a current transit reading. And I looked at their chart and I saw, like, oh, it was in his 8th and 2nd house. So what he's doing the work to heal is deep family patterns, shadows around health. Many of us are in families where there's diabetes and all sorts of health challenges because we are not understanding our authority in our own life. So I was able to look at his chart and tell him where this is happening in his chart so that he knows where to function. So for me, this is happening in my 6th house, daily routines. So I'm reorganizing my work, reorganizing my health practices. But this person, it was happening in their 8th house, which is karma and deep transformation and death through the family system. So you need to know, if you know, you don't need to know because you can do this work generally. But if you know the details, you can really get in there and do some deep cleaning because that's what Virgo is ultimately about. And because we just had the South Node moving through Libra, right now, our last year, we went through some shifts in our relationship. So this year, it's time for us to see how we're going to really direct that in a way that is beneficial for ourselves. Because Virgo says, I need to be in the beneficial experience. How is this benefiting me? If it's not benefiting me, my individual self, then I need to let it go. It must be a benefit to you, the person, right? So you can't be of service to another if it hasn't benefited yourself first. All right. I said everything. Boy, do I talk a lot. I love y'all. Peace and blessings. Have a really beautiful day. Bye-bye.